Just got back from the signing. Oof. Take these off. Loan signings during a pandemic. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's going on, guys? Victor Chambers here, back with another video. And in this video, I want to talk a little bit about conducting loan signings during a pandemic and some of the safety precautions that I take, some of the safety precautions that are being advised for me and other loan signing agents to take, whether by the National Notary Association or by direct title and escrow officers or by signing services. I wanted to give you a little bit of insight on how we're doing and how we're responding to that. I'm going to just speak from my perspective, so you may hear some of my opinions expressed. I'm not the CDC. I don't make the guidelines. I don't set the guidelines, but I do believe in following them. So whatever your opinion is, that's great. I'm just going to discuss a little bit about what I've seen out in the field, what's been advised to me as a loan signing agent, and also, how I'm kind of responding to that. So I'm hoping this video will provide some insight into what we're actually doing and what I'm actually doing out in the field day in, day out, accepting loan signings. So many of you know I'm also a licensed real estate agent, and at the beginning of the pandemic, there were certain activities that were limited and certain business functions that were limited because of the pandemic. So there were precautions that people were trying to figure out around, going in and out of people's homes and touching things and what to do in terms of quarantining and travel and all these various different things. And I saw in the real estate industry a response to this, and some of it was leveraging, paperwork and documents that buyers and sellers and agents would have to sign and things like that to hold people harmless. Obviously following CDC guidelines when you're going in people's homes, not touching things, using hand sanitizer, all of that stuff are part of the precautions that I have seen being taken in the real estate industry, and I have taken those precautions as a real estate agent, being out with buyers and working with sellers. And so I kind of want to give, some of that perspective as well as my perspective on actually doing loan signings. I know some people have various concerns around actually going in and out of people's homes, and even some of the signers that you'll work with and that you'll speak with, they have concerns as well. So, it's about being flexible. And what I've seen happen is obviously some signers want to do signings outside or in alternate locations besides their home, in a garage, in the trunk of a car, many different things in terms of how people individually are responding to this. But I want to just speak to a little bit of that, and also some of the guidance that I'm seeing being provided. So, obviously, there are certain precautions that you can take as a notary and as a loan signing agent when you're accepting appointments and when you're meeting with people. And so some of those, include, not accepting signings if you're experiencing any symptoms. Obviously, if you're experiencing, any of the symptoms related with the virus, you don't want to, be taking signings. Also, if the borrower is experiencing symptoms and you're concerned about taking this signing, you obviously have to communicate and contact all the parties involved. So just talking a little bit more about this for a second, what I've tried to implement, in my workflow when accepting signings and calling to confirm the signing with the borrower is actually asking them if they've been exposed or if anyone in their immediate household has been exposed to anyone with COVID-19, or if they've tested positive, if they've gotten a negative test. So kind of running through those questions in a very non-intrusive and kind of kind way, generally showing concern for both them and yourself, basically wanting to facilitate a safe environment. That's the goal here. We want to facilitate a safe environment, and we want to serve our clients and our customers. I typically tell my signers that, I'll be wearing a mask and gloves and shoe covers if they, are okay with doing the signing inside. Some of them say, yeah, we'll be wearing masks as well. I have been in signings where the homeowners don't feel comfortable wearing a mask. They are in their home. You can't make them do anything that they don't want to do in their own home. But in those cases, obviously trying to set up the signing table in a way that allows us to practice social distancing is an alternative to that. I've heard some people say that they won't take a signing if a borrower says that they won't be wearing a mask. I think as long as you're wearing a mask and you're protecting yourself, I think that's one barrier and one line of defense. But I think you have to kind of use your own judgment on that. But obviously, I wear a mask. We'll try to set up the table in a way to practice social distancing as well, and I think that has been effective. Bringing hand sanitizer and/or wearing gloves, sanitizing your utensils like your pens. If you do give them pens, sanitize them before and after, or just let them keep the pens. That's probably the best solution. So having sanitizing wipes or alcohol wipes typically helps, and also sanitizing your hands before you go into the signing. I mentioned wiping pens down and wiping, down the surface or what have you. Not licking your fingers and not licking pages. You shouldn't be doing that anyway, pandemic or non-pandemic. So, having either the rubber tip for your finger or having the Sort Quick, which I recommend that you use. Link in the description to that below. You can pick that up. Avoid any physical contact. Avoid shaking hands, trying to keep a safe distance, 6 to 8 feet at a signing table, and depending on the person's home and the kind of setup, that can be difficult at times. But I've been in a lot of homes where people have just huge dining room tables, and we kind of try to set up on as far apart as possible for us to be able to do the signing. But try to maintain as much distance as you can, but still being able to facilitate a smooth and easy signing. Having tissues readily available for coughs and sneezes, declining food and drinks. I get offered a bottle of water or something to drink in almost everyone's home I go into, because most people are kind and they just want to be hospitable. You're coming to serve them and help them facilitate a transaction. So most of them are rather hospitable. I never accept water. I never accept food. I mean, I've been offered dinner. I've been offered all sorts of things. I never accept any sort of, food or drinks. And I kind of, when I'm offered, water, for example, I just kindly decline and say, no, thank you. I'm okay. I'll say, I'll make a joke of it, and I'll say, liquids typically don't mix well with documents, right? And so I make it less about, not wanting their water and more about trying to be safe around their documents, because accidents happen. So I just kind of try to make it into a joke, and not, insult them by declining their offer. Declining any food or drinks. Using latex gloves for you and your borrower if people need to feel comfortable. I carry those in my car and in my bag. Some signing services are very specific about wearing gloves. Others are not. Others, are just, ask you to make sure you take precautions, you sanitize your hands. Obviously, masks are always required. I also, like I said, wear shoe covers. I know in some cultures, people, expect that when you come into their home, you'll take off your shoes. I never take off my shoes. I just tell them, is it okay if I wear shoe covers? Because, as much as they don't want me to track my shoes into their home, I don't want to track my feet and my socks into their home either. So, I think shoe covers is the best compromise. And I've never had anyone not be okay with me wearing shoe covers. In fact, some people say, don't worry about it. It's fine. I typically will put them on anyway, just to be safe. And obviously, I carry around disposable shoe covers with me. I throw them out after each signing. I also carry disposable masks that I wear day in and day out that I throw out after each signing. And when I meet with someone. So those are kind of some of the precautions you can take. I think, for the most part, signing services and, directs that I've been in contact with have been super concerned about making sure everyone remains safe. And so that's great. I don't think anyone is intentionally trying to be negligent or malicious in getting this done. I think, most people and most companies that I've interacted with have really done a good job at trying to prioritize everyone's safety. In some of the signings I've done, there's a questionnaire that's based on an NNA template that's included in the package. And both you and the borrower will have to answer these questions and sign. But it would ask, have you returned from international travel to a country with a level 3 travel notice within the last 14 days? Have you or a household family member had close contact or cared for someone diagnosed with COVID-19 within the last 14 days? Have you experienced any cold or flu-like symptoms in the last 14 days? Fever, cough, sore throat, respiratory illness, difficulty breathing. And then they say, if you respond yes to any of these questions, let them know. So those questionnaires get sent out to both the signers and also you as the signing agents from what I've seen. Like I said, the signing services and obviously the National Notary Association, I think, have been very good about, trying to make sure people follow precautions and trying to give guidance, specific to our industry, but, a lot of this is common sense. If you don't feel comfortable taking a signing for any reason, pandemic or non-pandemic, you shouldn't take the signing. If you think your safety is at risk in any way, shape, or form, don't take the signing, have it reassigned. Like I said, if you feel the environment puts you at risk, decline or ask for the signing to be reassigned. Keeping hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes with you at all times, using them frequently is important. We mentioned avoiding contact. Other things you can do to take precautions is using your copy of the package to review the documents and not handing pages to the actual signers to sign. So giving them a copy of the package, letting them, reviewing it with them, let them sign it, and then have them, package it back and hand it to you. That probably gets a little cumbersome. I've never personally had to do that. If you're super, trying to be super careful, that's something you can do. I mentioned about, doing signings outside or, in the back, in someone's trunk outside or in someone's garage, on someone's deck or someone's patio. I've done all of that. And for the most part, it's not that bad. It may add an additional amount of time to you completing your signing, which you should account for. But obviously, we want to respect our safety and the safety of the signers. Another thing that I've heard people do that I've not personally had to do yet was they would hand the entire package of the documents to the signer. That person would sign the documents in their home. You as the agent would be in the car on the phone with the signer as you go through the exact same copy of the package, and over the phone you would talk them through where to sign, how to fill certain things out, etc. I haven't had to do that yet. I actually had a signing that was going to have to work that way. It ended up getting canceled or rescheduled, one or the other, so I didn't get the opportunity to have that experience. But I know some signing agents and some borrowers or signers are opting to sign that way. I know that kind of goes into a gray area in terms of notarizing a document in front of them. I'm not going to offer any specific guidance on that, whether it's to say whether you should or shouldn't do that. I'm just telling you what I've heard and have seen other people do to get around and to kind of mitigate the safety issues that people have concerns with. I think the bottom line is here, it's mostly common sense. You have to follow CDC guidelines. You have to some degree accommodate your signers. As I said, the signing services and many of the direct companies will give you specific guidance on what to do. A mask or face covering is going to be required at a bare minimum regardless all the time. So that's just something you should keep in mind. Some signers may say, oh, you don't have to wear a mask. I wouldn't take that advice. I wouldn't take that guidance. I think you should opt to always wear a mask at a bare minimum. Now, I'm not saying you have to wear a full jumpsuit like you're about to go paint somebody's house, but you take the precautions that you deem are sufficient to maintain your safety, the safety of your signers, and also be able to still do the job. If you see any warning signs or if you see anything that compromises your safety at any point, you can leave a signing, but you should communicate. The bottom line here is that you want to make sure you're being safe, for your safety and the safety of your signers. And so that's very important. So like I said, a lot of this is common sense. In this business, from what I've seen so far, you'll encounter varying degrees of opinions and types of people in terms of how they are responding to this. So that actually is all quite interesting. As I said, the bottom line is to take the precautions that we all have know of, and we've become, I think, very familiar and to some degree comfortable with, to take those precautions for your safety and the safety of others. And I think you should be okay. Now, to some degree, we probably have all been exposed in some way, shape, or form, right? So nothing is going to be 100%, but as I've said, you can take precautions and follow guidelines. But I hope this is helpful in kind of painting a picture for you of what signing during this pandemic is like and has been like. We don't know obviously when things are going to go back to normal or what the new normal will be, but in the meantime, as a loan signing agent and doing this business, you have to take precautions. And so again, hope this was helpful. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload brand new content, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.